Okay, y'all finished?
Probably not.
I sat back all day long, watched the For You page, watch all the comments, watch all of y'all. Just get it out of your system.
But I respect the content you make, so I'm going to be gentle on this one, but this is shaping up to be a real bad take.
And now it's the end of the day, and I'm gonna ask the question again. How long would you rather have the government closed with government employees not getting a paycheck?
Easy. Until there's a guarantee to protect the healthcare benefits and access for the millions of Americans that stand to lose them or lose the ability to afford them. Either that or until the Republicans nuke their filibuster and pass their budget with a simple majority showing that they were able to do that the entire time and keep the government open and chose not to for political drama so they could continue to pad the pockets of billionaires. Those are the two options. I am happy with it being closed until either of those two things happen.
Easy for those of you getting a paycheck to say that the Democrats caved.
All right, to your point, I do think saying that the Democrats caved is counterproductive because the Democrats did not cave. A select few turncoats caved, 7 or 6 because we can't really count John Fetterman anymore, and one independent that caucuses with Democrats. And also, fuck Chuck Schumer because it's his job to make sure everybody stays in line, so even though he didn't cave on the vote, still, if he can't do the job, he shouldn't be doing the damn job. But other than that, the rest of the Democrats have held the line, and we need to be giving them props for that. They have been fighting this fight for a long time, and we are not giving them enough credit. And you also need to be calling all of your senators right now and telling them to make sure that they keep this shit shut down. So yeah, we should not be saying the Democrats caved. We should be saying some feckless Democrats caved.
It's easy for those of you getting a paycheck to say that the Democrats caved when people on the other side of this scenario who are not getting a paycheck take the bullet for all this.
But this right here is why I said this was going to be a shit take. Now, once again, I respect the hell out of what you're doing with your platform, and I respect your empathy in this situation because absolutely millions of federal workers are suffering because they're not getting a paycheck, and that is not fair to them. But what you just said here is that disabled children, people living in poverty, disabled vets, elderly people, all kinds of people, millions of Americans in this country who will die without the benefits that they get from these ACA subsidies should take the bullet so federal workers can get a paycheck. What you also said is the countless people who will lose their jobs as the result of these subsidies getting cut and rural hospitals and healthcare providers closed down should take the bullet and lose their paycheck so federal workers can get their paycheck. And that is a shit take. And what makes it more of a shit take is that federal workers have exponentially more power than poor people and little disabled children, okay? Federal workers have union leadership. Federal workers have mass numbers. Federal workers may not legally be allowed to strike, but they still can take that risk and try to fight the good fight that everybody else is fighting right now too. You say Republicans won't budge, and they may not, but federal workers have the ability to lobby and pressure them in ways that nobody else does. What is the point of this shutdown if we give up the only leverage we have and have suffered through this shutdown for 40 days just for nothing, just to give it all away for nothing? Federal workers should be on the front of the shutdown, forcing Republicans to budge, not expecting Democrats to cave, and that is why this is a really, really bad take. And just to drive that point home, a federal worker losing his job is terrible, but a federal worker can get another job. A kid living in poverty who needs life-saving care cannot find another healthcare provider to give it to them if that healthcare disappears or becomes unaffordable for them. That is the difference. That is why we're fighting here. That's why I'm in D.C. right now to go knock on those senators' doors and tell them to get their fucking acts together. Because the Joe Dirt getting the lid knocked off the septic tank level shitty scenario we are all in means we are all going to suffer. And unfortunately, we're all going to suffer for a while, but we need to be damn sure we make that suffering worth something and make it so the least amount of people suffer for the least amount of time. And unfortunately, right now, that means that this government needs to remain shut the fuck down. Federal workers and every other American citizen who is able needs to be putting pressure on the Republicans who are looking to rob people of the literal things they need to live to budge, not expecting Democrats to cave. Which is why we are bringing out a bunch of kids with complex medical disabilities to stand on a stage at Union Station and tell their stories in front of representatives and the media to put that pressure on. And if they can come out and do it, federal workers sure as shit can too. How long, man? As long as it fucking takes. That's how long. And again, I mean all of this with the most respect to you as a creator and what you use your platform for, and the empathy you have for the federal workers who are suffering and working without a paycheck and struggling to provide for their families right now, because I have that empathy too. It's just, we are in between a rock and a hard place, and this is the only option and the only leverage we have right now, and everybody needs to be on board with that. And everybody else, we're in DC right now. Will Westmoreland and I are gonna go grab a megaphone and yell at some government buildings like USDA and ICE and Homeland Security and the Heritage Foundation, maybe, probably, and whatever else we can find on Google Maps for people who aren't doing their fucking jobs. Later in this trip, we're gonna go down to the Capitol and yell at actual representatives who aren't doing their fucking jobs, or at least at their doors, because I doubt most of them are gonna open them for us. We're gonna let them know we're here, and like I said, we're gonna be bringing out those kids with complex medical disabilities to let them tell us their story. We're going to bring out rural people, farmers, let them tell us how this is affecting them. We'd love to have some federal workers on board. We're going to be doing a lot, and if you want to help support, you can go to the Save the Heartland website, or you can do it through the tree in my biography, if you catch my drift. But anyway, guys, we love you, and I'm going to go get to work. You'll be seeing a lot more of me soon.